Alright guys, TouchGrabit back again today. I'm going to join you on Monday so far. Today we're going to talk about the CDL rumour for 2021 that 4v4 is going to be returning for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, or whatever it exactly is going to be called. Definitely has gained some traction over the last couple of weeks here. Hector talking about it on a couple of Eavesdrop podcasts, now being talked about on the CODcast as well. And Attach says a couple of things on stream here which kind of hint towards that direction as well. Very interesting discussion. Thought there was an interesting, few comments in the comment section of the video. I talked about this last time, saying that, the fact that, Hector and that haven't been told maybe makes it more likely that it is staying 5v5, because a big change like this you would expect to be communicated. However, that may not be the case for a number of reasons. I imagine that if it goes to 4v4, definitely they are looking for a 16 team expansion, because that doesn't look good on the league if you put a lot of people out of jobs. And I suppose if they're going to decide that 4v4 is the direction to go, and they want to take that hit in terms of, it's not going to be good for competitive players, and not necessarily good for the players, but not necessarily, certainly not very good for the actual organizations, right? The fact that they have to cut players that potentially are in 2-3 year contracts and now have to deal all the repercussions of that, that's not ideal by any means. Maybe the CDL is trying to soften the blow by also bringing in teams at the same time. That's another discussion which we're going to have today. Like, if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's hop into things here then with this attached clip. I'll play this on screen for you guys right now.
No, I need to keep getting these 2 and 3 pieces. All I need to count up to is 5 right now. And next year, all I got to count up to is 4. So we're good. We don't need to go back to school.
So Attach certainly implying it seems somewhat likely that 4v4 is going to happen. That's not necessarily the case here. He might just be talking about that, similar to how Dreel is right here, where Dreel says, 4v4, make sure you leave your Modern Warfare tainted brains at the door. Please tell me this isn't bait. I should have, but if it's, although, just some heavily implied rumours. So yeah, very interesting, right? We go back to a Treyarch title here at Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, whatever it's going to be called. That's the rumour as of now. Still hasn't been confirmed, right? We really want to see something around this fact. We've also heard Miles talk about some of the ideas they have for the World Championships. Who knows whether they try and do some sort of reveal at the World Champs of exactly like the esports side of things, because back in Black Ops 3, I don't know if we had this with Black Ops 4, but Black Ops 3 I remember distinctly, we had like an actual esports reveal. They had Dunk Sensor Martin and co, and like Tommy and Buzzo and that fly out to this event, and they did like a 4v4 esports reveal on LAN. That was really, really cool. Who knows whether we get something similar this year? Probably not, but who knows, right? And of course, we had the discussion when we went to Black Ops 4 that it was going to become 5v5, and the reason why they did that was to align the competitive and the casual sides. Both were 5v5. Now Activision and, maybe they're having discussions with players and, maybe not players, given that, you imagine the players would have known some sort of outcome if players were being discussed with, but maybe they've had discussions with Treyarch and, former players or some organization members and discussed the idea of going back to 4v4 long term, because clearly right now, public matches have now gone back to 6v6, and that was initially the reason for going 5v5 was to kind of align the two. Now that pubs have gone back to 6v6, why would you not bring competitive back to 4v4 if you do think that was better? And personally, I think it played better. You guys might certainly disagree, think that 5v5 is more entertaining. That's a perfectly viable opinion indeed, but maybe Treyarch is talking to Activision and saying, look, this is the long-term thing that we need to go with. 4v4 was better for competitive play back in the day. We have some ideas to make 4v4 better, and maybe they're also thinking, if we're expanding to 16 teams, do we have the number of players to support that if we stay 5v5? But of course, if they do go to 4v4, this has to be a long-term change, right? You can't flip-flop like this. This is going to have to be how it is for at least 5 years. I imagine, they're probably looking at this long-term potential, because I'm sure they don't want to annoy their organizations too much that have invested so much into this Call of Duty League. So let's go on to look at some potential teams that could come in. We talked the other day about 100 Thieves. Nadeshot kind of hinting maybe that he signed some NDAs. Definitely those NDAs could still be valid from last season when he was initially having discussions with 100 Thieves. So maybe that's not anything particularly new, but as we talked about at the time, given the FaZe situation, that they can actually still have their brand through some sort of loophole in the league, you could ask the question that maybe, he's thinking, do I get in with some sort of Thieves branding? And we've talked about Rise Nation as well, trying to get in. We definitely heard the discussions of Heretics last season, trying to get a spot in the Spanish scene somewhere. But also, now we've got to talk about Singularity. So this was a squad that came in second place in the Challengers Champs just yesterday. And this was a discussion in the Twitch chat at the time. If rumours are true, Singularity are getting a spot in the league next season. And anyone says they don't have that kind of money is stupid. Look at who their primary sponsor is. Now, back in London in February, I heard people discussing this, and I kind of thought it was unreasonable. But I do understand understand that Singularity do have a lot of backing behind them. I went on their website here and just looked through these primary sponsors. PwC being the main one, so PricewaterhouseCoopers or something like that, I think it stands for. They're like a major, you know, like business services kind of consulting company based in London in the UK, like a $40-50 billion revenue, something like that per year. That's a pretty major primary sponsor to have. You got definitely some other names like Nocco that I've heard of here, Control Freak, of course, from the gaming side, Scuff Gaming, you know, Dash Threads, PuckGG, Nordic Gaming, Blocksport. Those are the kind of things they're bringing to the table here. And well, if this is who their sponsorships are, you know, and they've got venture capital backing as well, who knows if this is actually out of the question, right? You definitely could say that, look, if 100 Thieves bringing in $25 million was a lot of money, then you look at Singularity and you're like, you know, is there any possibility they're going to get the job done here? However, if they are looking to expand to 16 teams, and as we've said, Attach seems to think that this could be a good thing, or at least seems to think that this is a very likely thing, that it goes 4v4 based on what he said. Other people are saying similar things behind the scenes right now. I highly doubt, as we were talking in the comment section below a couple of videos ago, that it stays 12, you know, stays as 12 teams. I imagine they have to expand to 16 teams because that's going to leave a lot of people without jobs, and well, it just has to go that way if you're going to 4v4 in my opinion, which does open the door. If Heretics are interested, if Rise Nation are interested, who knows if 100 Thieves are interested. Seems like Singularity could be interested, and I'm sure there's plenty of other teams as well that might want to get CDL spots, and Activision might be saying, okay, well, we did have this discussion about, okay, there's no lands, potentially there might be 2 or 3, that might make it more challenging for new teams to actually get immediate revenue. Then again, Activision could be selling it as, look, this is going to be 16 teams for the next at least 5 years. This is your chance to get in. You know, the bidding is now, the revenue will come in coming seasons. This is your opportunity. So maybe if that's the marketing pitch, then a lot of organizations are going to try and flood into this. It's going to be a very exciting few months if that does indeed happen. But we're getting hints left, right, and center every few days that it's 4v4. And as I say, if it's 4v4, I think it has to go to 16 teams, as with this discussion on Reddit here. So 4v4 and 16 teams would be the dream. Some people we've watched for years are going to be left out. Barely seeing Looney this year was certainly weird. That problem would be solved if we go to 12 to 16 teams, as I said. Not necessarily 12 players dropped, so that's 3 whole teams. Then you've got Gunless, Chino, Looney, the whole Toronto bench, General Morgs, Rated, and Jerd out there. Definitely some, you know, viable players. I mean, I was just thinking earlier today with Marcad and Nasty and these players on the London bench as well. A few top AMs probably would end up on a team. A few people would definitely be left out. So yeah, I guess from a player's perspective, you're removing 12 jobs and creating 20 in theory if you're adding like 1 substitute onto the team. So if you're not picked up as any one of those 20, I guess you won't get enough to being the original 12. But that's what I think. I think if it does go to 4v4, it has to go to 16 teams. Hopefully we get some announcements in coming days on this, maybe around the champs time. That definitely could be a possible thing. But we seem to get clips every few days that talk about stuff like this. Who knows what the likelihood is? Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always. And I will see you next time.
Get ready, we're about to move. Hardpoint secure. Specialist achieved.